Hey everybody, welcome to the Soulful Eclectic. I am your host, Dr. Diana Collins, and I want to welcome you to today's episode. If this is the first time you're joining me, thank you so much for taking the time to be with me, to listen to me, to watch me, however you're listening to the podcast. Thank you for taking the time. I appreciate you, and I hope something that we talk about today resonates with you and you can share it. Or, one of the older episodes, you can share that too. There are still some floating out there, especially on podcast uh, platforms, definitely for sure. And for those of you who are coming back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, and thank you for taking the time to come back and to listen to what we have going on here on the Soulful Eclectic. So yeah, it's just thank you. There's been so many things that's been in the works, and just life has been lifing, and we all know this. We've had a tumultuous couple of weeks, um, and some of us are still feeling the heat, and just trying to find out those ways to stay positive through all the negativity that we're being shot at through in this world. There's a lot of unhappy people in this world, and they, misery likes company, and they want us to be part of their company. And I'm choosing not to be part of their company, and I'm going to admit it is hard. It is quite the challenge not to, come back with the negativity. And, we're always charged with, we got to be the bigger person. Sometimes I don't want to be the bigger person. I want to be the one that's going to lash out at you too. But we all know we can't, right? As soon as we do, we're the bad guy, we're the one that got bad attitudes, you know, whatever words they choose to place on us as individuals. Um, will be used at us and to us. So yeah, definitely gotta work cut out for us and to stay uplifted and stay positive in this world today. Uh, yeah, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, and I'm definitely feeling it. Even though most of the times I try not to show it, I'm feeling it. But yeah, so we've had some episodes that were running on repeat. And that's only because I have welcomed my bouncing baby grandson, bouncing baby boy, into the world. And he went full term, 40 weeks and a day, okay, like his mama did. And I told her, I said, you did the same thing. You were 40 weeks and a day. So he's giving you the same thing you gave your mama. And she's feeling it. He is a fussy baby. He is so fussy. And it's just great to be a part of that. So I have been staying with them for the past few weeks, and she's given birth, even the weeks leading up to it, and working remotely from that. And it's been a challenge, not being in your own personal space. But I am also very blessed to be a part of that. So any grandmas out there who are new, who've been at it for a while, if you got any tips, bring them on. Because all I plan to do is spoil the heck out of that boy, and just love on him. He's just the cutest little thing, as they all are, because I've been seeing some of these babies that have been on TikTok and Instagram, and she's so cute, and you can tell they some old souls. They've been here before, and this little one has definitely been here before, and he don't get his mama run for her money. He ain't gonna run his grandma. He gonna run his mama. I don't know what I'm going to be called yet. Everybody's like grandma. I'm like, no, I don't like the grandma. So far, my daughter's been calling me nanny, your nana. That's been kind of hanging around, Nana. I was looking at, since I learned my ancestry, I found out, again, I'm 57% Nigerian, and there's other Kenyan and Sierra Leonean in there as well. So I've kind of like been looking at those roots and Yoruba and but the thing is, I don't know if I was in the Yoruba tribe or if it was Igbo. So I've been kind of looking at the Yoruba language and stuff. So they have Aya Agba, I think it is, for grandma, and Aya is mama, and Baba is papa, is your dad. Um, and then it got Baba Aga, I think it is, for grandpa. So I'm like, I like Aya. Mama Aya. That's what I want to be, Mama Aya. So we'll see what happens. I'll see if I can get that to stick, Mama Aya. We'll see. So if I got any Nigerian family out there that has some insight, please do share. I look forward to see. But what do you call your grandma? Huh? For those of you who are native to Nigeria and born and raised in Nigeria and speak Yoruba or even Igbo, I'm open. Just that connection that has been lost over the centuries. Um, yeah, I kind of want to see what that is. So I've been toying with that because he's half Dominican too, and my daughter's half Puerto Rican, so they have the abuela for the Spanish part, and I think I'm going to do my daughter's ancestry too because I think she has tie into Taino in Puerto Rico based off of her sperm donor descent. Because he says he's mixed with a bunch of other stuff too. Um, and I know he has African in his DNA because they have the sickle cell trait, which is not on our side. So saying it came from his side. Um, and then he said he was part Filipino from the Philippines. So I'm just really curious about hers too. So we're going to do her swab next to see what her genetic makeup is. On top of that, and I'm gonna do my dad too because I think he is Gullah Geechee, even though he tells me he's not Gullah Geechee. I think he's Gullah Geechee because I listen to him talk, and he's in South Carolina, down in Monk's Corner, yeah, so deep in the South. So yeah, I think he's Gullah Geechee. So we're gonna look at that too, talk about ancestry. But anyways, I digress. But yeah, so I've been away back and forth for a little while. But never away from my show. I just love my podcast. I love the guests I get to talk to and just do the things that I do. But I just been, just sitting into life, and, contemplating different things. And something I thought about because I looked at the relationship between my daughters. And as much as I tried so hard for them to be close, this one piece of hair is really getting on my nerves. Sorry, it's bothering me. But yes, so I really, really tried for them to be close, like the sister sibling relationship that I wish I really had with my siblings. Um, and I'm close with my brother, so I can't even say that I'm close with my brother. Um, but I just wanted them to be close because it's just the two of them, and if should something, God forbid, happen to me, it'll be just the two of them, and I just don't like them to be strained. So it got me thinking about strained sibling relationships and just strained relationships at all, in general, because even looking at it, um, strained relationships within our families is very common. Um, we're all here trying to break the generational curses that we've all been living with. And some people was like, generational curses just does not sit with those of us of African descent. We all have generational curses. I mean, just by the very foundation of what this country was built on alone, there are generational curses. And so as much as our persons of non-color like to think that their lives are all perfect, they come from descendants of a tumultuous past, and which is what some of them um, are trying to hold on to with this whole "Keep America, Make America Great," because that's what they are. That's their comfort. They want to be in charge, and they don't realize that they have their own set of generational traumas that sit within their genetic DNA. But I digress. I'm talking about me, not them. But anyways, talking about siblings and just relationships and strained relationships in general. I just really had this time to really sit in and think about the relationships within my own family and things that we have going on in our own family and the things that I just let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. 'Cause, we talk about relationships, we talk about all these kind of things. So yeah, we're gonna talk about it. So right now, again, yeah, doing all these things. So I'm not at home. So if my lighting is kind of funky, it's really because I'm in a hotel. I'm not home. I am filming in Ohio. I can't tell you the movie because I signed an NDA, but I am filming here in Ohio. And you know what? I'm just blessed to be here, blessed to be a part of it, and just see where it goes. It is not the best time to be in Ohio. It is cold. It is. I mean, I'm gonna tell you my New York term. It is brick out here. All right, y'all feel me? It is brick. Okay, and I am dead ass cold. Okay. And I did not prepare for this trip effectively at all. Like my jacket is like this fallish kind of jacket. I have gloves only because I have Raynaud's, so my hands suffer terribly in the cold. So I have gloves. I don't have a scarf. I ain't got a hat, earmuff to no. And it's snowing. And it's snowing. What the hell was I thinking? I'm thinking I'm still in Tucson somewhere, but I'm not. And my joints, Lord, you know what? I'm just gonna say this. My mama did not prepare me, did not talk about this joint pain. And I get it. I'm only 15 years younger than my mama is. So she probably didn't have the pain. She's probably going through the same pain I'm going through now. But I'm just gonna say, I have not heard any of the elders in my family talk about this joint pain that I'm having right now. My fingers hurt. I feel like I went a boxing match with the way my knuckles are feeling, my knees. Again, I digress. I told you I get off on a tangent real quick. Um, Talking about siblings and relationships and strained relationships in my family. Now, we all trying to find our center, be our best selves. Don't nothing's going to disturb our peace. If we have a family that member that's toxic, we're staying away from them because even though they're family, we don't have to embrace them and be toxic. There's all these things that are out there, and honestly, they're all right. You know, if there's somebody in your family that exhibits toxic behavior, you don't have to engage with them at all. Gone are those times where they say, "Well, that's your family. That's just how they are, and you deal with it." So we're trying to get away from that. But with that, we don't talk to our families anymore. And I'm just gonna speak with my own family. We just don't. We just are dispersed. Like I have 12, 13, probably 15 second cousins that I don't know. I have 3, 4, 5, I think 6, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I think I have 6 first cousins for myself and like 12, 15 second cousins on my mom's side. And then not to mention the third cousins, fourth cousins, blah, blah, blah. Right. And then on my dad's side, I can't even tell you how many. There's just so many because my grandma had, I think, 11 kids, 10, 11 kids. And then they had kids and they had, it's just a plethora of them. And I just can't. But anyhow, I don't know a lot of my family. I know my aunts and uncles because again we were raised together as almost as siblings, even though they're my aunts and my uncles. So I know them and I know where they are. Um, I don't have a close relationship with their children, and the only ones that have children are my 2 uncles, and my mom. My aunt doesn't have children. So yes, so our relationships are really awful. So I fight to keep us connected as much as possible. So I do make an effort, and I'll send a message, hey, just checking on you, see how you're doing, kind of deal. And that's just me, because me personally, I love those connections, and even though we've had our differences, it's tough. It's tough. But again, I sat down and I was thinking about it because I was looking at my daughter, and I know she craves her sister's company, especially during this time where she just gave birth to her first baby, her son, and she doesn't have her sister, her blood sister there to share in that with. And I know that's something that she would love to have. And there's that whole sibling piece where you have they just I don't know, it's just wild so that they don't connect the way that I wanted them to. I wanted them to be so close. Oh, the best of friends I wanted them to be. I did. And it just didn't happen. It didn't happen. Something in there broke. And I can surely sit there and play the blame game on it was this one's fault because they did this and they didn't do this, or it was this relationship. And as my daughter likes to point out, my oldest, I don't know, I'm in a hotel, somebody dog. It ain't my dog because y'all know my dog don't bark. But it's one of those things where I just I wish it was better, but it's not. But that's what really got me thinking about relationships and being strained and the things that are happening within that and that. So I was sitting there and I thought about it and I was like, wow. Many times we are the villains in other story, right? And I sat there and I was like, yeah, we are. And we don't even know what we did. Or so maybe we do it and the other person cannot forgive, or say they forgive, but they just can't let let it ride out and see the growth in the individual from where they are currently, which is a lot of what some of us are dealing with. But like I said, many times we are the villains in other stories. Some of the stories, yes, we are aware of some of the things that we've done to be that villain in their story, be it good, bad, indifferent, whatever it is, whatever. I mean, because we may see us as not being the villain, but it's not our perception that make, villainizes us. It's theirs. So they can perceive us as being the villain, where you're just doing your best, being the best human that you can be at that moment of time, be it right or wrong. You may have apologized for whatever it is, but at the end of the day, they still see you as a villain. And you as being toxic. And speaking from me, I am I, I'm it. I'm the villain. I'm the victim, and of my oldest daughter's story. I am the villain in her story. Um, And for her, I am toxic. And I'm like, I don't know why. I'm like, I'm just so loving. I just want the best. I just want you to be happy. I just want to be. And sometimes that's just not enough. We as parents make mistakes. We're not perfect. Children does not come with a guidebook. There's not an instruction manual for being a parent. And we do the best we can with the devices and the tools that we have at that time. And yeah, sometimes we don't make the best decisions, but as we grow, we acknowledge that, and I own it. I tell them, like, yeah, I messed up. I had no idea what I was doing. Yeah, I should have done X, Y, and Z, but here we are. I did the best I can. Listen, you have a college degree, you have a job, you're not strung out on drugs, you're not. It's just, but again, it's not my story. It's not mine. If being a villain in these people's story makes them happy and it gives them their peace, then there you go. But you also have to realize that some people like to be victims, right? Even though they say, "Oh, I'm not a victim," but because you still are not growing and you're still not letting, I don't want to say letting go because that feels so bad. But if you're saying you forgive someone, but you still treat them in a certain manner, then you don't forgive them. You're just saying the words. You really don't forgive them. All right. You're just trying to placate the other side to make them feel better, or maybe you want to forgive them, but you just don't know how. But there's so many things. But as I, some of the stories we know that we are that the victim, and there are others that, well, we're not really sure what happened. We just experienced the awkward look side, the conversations and such, but we don't really understand why we're the victim. And I am number one with that. Sometimes I just look like, what did I do that you just think I am the worst person on this side of the earth? And then sometimes it's just because they can't see their wrong in the role they played to bring out that side of you too. Right? There's that. There's that. So it's just so many things. And many of these stories are related to us and are rooted us in family. Something you did as a child, as a teenager, that the other person just doesn't want to let go of. And some of us just have those chemical makeups, and yeah, and I'm going to say some it may be just mental health, right? It just is what it is. But some things are just deeply rooted that they just can't let go, for whatever the reasons. And some of this is like mother and fathers. Like for many years, I, blamed and blamed my mom for this, blamed my dad for this, blamed this one for this. And at the end of the day, I have to sit down and say, listen, you're going to take charge of your life. You can't keep blaming people. They did what they did with what they had. It wasn't the greatest. You made it out alive. What are you going to do with it? And not just me. That's me. I'm not saying this for anybody else. I'm just saying for me, I had to sit within it and say, hey, are you going to let this drive you in this manner? Or are you going to grow from it, learn from it, see it for what it is, and see these people for who they are today, not for who they were back in 1977 and 80s and 90s. No, who they are today, because that's the person you're dealing with today. You can't go back and deal with yesteryear person because yesteryear person is gone. I can only deal with the person that's here presently. I can't deal with the future person because I don't know what they're going to be in the future. But I can deal with you who you are on this day, and that's how I operate. And that's the place I'm in. So if today you and I are talking and we are trying to meet on a mutual level, I'm here. I'm engaged. I'm going to do what I can. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to be overboard, and I'm not going to just invite you, embrace you completely into my life. But I am going to talk, and we'll sit and have conversations, and we'll see where we are. See where we can grow in everything that we're doing, in who we are, right? So when you look at those relationships, it's real. It's real, and it's tough. It's tough, and I just want to be better. Like I just love family to the point where yes, I am creating my own family. There are people that are friends of mine, and they're like my sisters. They're my brothers, and I love them to death. But some of them just embrace me as that. So if I am calling you my sister, and I'm saying sister, not just sis, okay? Because sis and sister, they have different meanings. Because I have some people that I'm like, hey sis, what's good? Because we have some sort of connection. But if I'm treating you like you're my sister, we have a deeper connection. So I'm like, hey sister, what's going on? What is it? It's not a random basis because there's different levels. And I know people are like, that's weird for me. I'm going to speak for me. There's different levels. So, for like people who are work friends and or associates, I, there's no sis involved in many of those. Okay, it's just gonna be what it is. Hey, Nancy. Hey, Tina. Hey, that kind of thing. And they may learn a little bit about me, but they won't know the true depths of me. Sis may get a little more insight to me. Like sis, I might hang out with you a little bit on the outside. Sister, my kids are calling you auntie. We're going doing family things. We're spending time together. That's just how that sister goes. Because you're my sister. You're my brother. I can call on you if I need something, and you got me. Same here. And if you need me, you call on me. I got you. That's that sister, brother, and that's me. The difference between sis and brother. Be close, but we haven't developed a relationship where I'm calling you sister, and we're not tight like that. I know it's weird, but anyways, I digress. That got a little serious there for a moment. It's all right. I tend to do that every now and again. But yes, so I've been, like, as you can see, I've been really, really thinking about this because really trying to come, really finishing compartmentalizing relationships in my life because um, there's just so many things that I love and I treasure. And many of you who know me know I am so passionate about so many things, so many things. Um, I like to call it, it's my Gemini effect. I don't know if it's true. I'm not deep into astrology like that. I do follow some things, but I'm not deep into it like that. But I call it the Gemini effect because when I am into something, I jump and I'm all in. But I want to really think about this villainizing of ourselves. And are you villainizing you, or are there others that are making you the villains in their story? I'm a villain in a lot of people's story. I'm a villain in X's story. I'm a villain in probably my kid's story. The villain in probably my mama's story. I'm a villain in probably a sister and brother story. I'm sure I am a villain. I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm like the perfect person because I am not, and nor do I claim to be, and nor do I want to be. But I know I am the villain in some people's stories. Do I care about being the villain? Some people's stories I do care about being the villain because I want to know what I did. Um, I'm just going to tell you some of those past relationships. If I'm the villain, keep me the villain, bro. I'm good. Keep me being the villain. If that keeps you away from me, I'll be the villain in your story. I'm not the person that goes backwards in relationships. So if I'm the villain in your story, I'm the villain for a reason. And you made me a villain for a reason, and you brought that villain out of me. And so I will maintain being the villain in your story. But when it comes to family and close friends, I want to know why you see me as the villain. What happened that made you want to villainize me? Um, yeah, then I don't know what it is about that, but I do. I want to know. So um, we typically are the villains in relationships. In that, we could be villains in our personal relationships, our intimate relationships, our friendships, and I, to me, friendships are intimate relationships too. And intimacy does not always equate to sexual relationships. So friendships, love interests, like past, presence, you know, think about it. What are you the villain in the story? And can you remember what it was that made you the villain in the story? Because some of it I really can't. But then some of it I know how I'm the villain because it's just like you brought it out of me. You earned that one. So there's that. So let's take a moment. Okay, we're gonna take a moment. Let's think about a moment as we point out the villains in some stories. And I don't mean the villain in every story because that's not what I mean. The ones you care about, where you like really want to know where the relationship went wrong, where the friendship went wrong. How did we break apart like that? Not saying so that you could reconnect. No, this is all about your self growth and being the person that you are today. I like to always do reflective pieces and think about where I am. And so I think about often how I am perceived. No, and not because I I care what other people think, but what other people think of me will not change me because I live in my authentic skin. So I just listen. I'm like, oh, that's what you think of me. Cool. Keep that. Kind of thing. So it's just interesting. I don't know. It's just like I said, my mind was going. I had time, kind of. That's not really true, but I was had moments where I was able to really sit in my thoughts. So yeah, let me know. Let me know what with that. Think about that for a minute. Just let that ponder for a moment, and we'll be right back.
are y'all doing? I would like to welcome you to a show that is called Cruise with Rob C, exclusively on WUBI Ubiquity Radio every Sunday afternoon from 1 to 3 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. My name is Rob C, and while taking your cruise, you will hear the very best in smooth jazz, smooth R&B, classic soul, as well as other genres that definitely define the very essence of smooth. I personally invite you to come aboard, and while you're here, grab your favorite beverage, turn up the volume, and have a seat as we set sail on this musical journey for your listening pleasure. You can find us at wubi.live, or depending if you have an Apple or Android device, go to your app store and download our free WUBI app. Take care, and as always, enjoy your cruise, y'all.
I am the Disco Bee.
I am the Alpha Male.
I am Benjamin Grimm, and we host
From a Queen's perspective.
The seasoned gentleman.
the host of the Love Jones Cafe.
We are the Love Jones Cafe.
The Love Jones Cafe.
We are the Love Jones Cafe.
Love Jones. Love Jones. Love Jones. Love Jones.
Hey everyone, Dr. Diana Collins here with the Soulful Eclectic, a podcast about being your authentic self and maintaining your health and wellness, brought to you by Divine Nubian Essentials, Love the Skin You're In, and also Collins Education Resource Management, where healthcare education is our passion. If you're looking for a new read, check out our friend Reggie Dupree in Hoodoo Heaven, Return to Hoodoo, and Mystical Midlife Mate, because everything is happening in Hoodoo, brought to you by WUBI Ubiquity Radio and TV. If you have not downloaded your app on Roku or Apple or Google Play, do so right away. The Soulful Eclectic can be found every Friday night, 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time on all your podcast streaming platforms, WUBI Ubiquity Radio and TV. So, see you soon. Namaste. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for coming back and just joining us for this podcast. I tell you, thinking about your life and where you are, where you're transitioning to be. It's been a journey. It's been a journey. Like, I sit here and I'm thinking about all the things that I am doing and have done, and never in a million years, if you asked me 20 years ago, what would I be doing? Would I be any of this? On TV, on radio. Come on. But that's just the way life is. And when I think about relationships and strained relationships and the relationships that I've built, I didn't think I'd be able to make friends and have these types of relationships as an adult, because growing up, I didn't have these relationships. And like I said, I was a villain in a lot of people's story for whatever the reason, whether it was just because they didn't like me, whether it was just because I said one thing that, whatever the reason, I am the villain in their story. And during this time, I just realized I just don't want that. I don't care enough anymore. If you see me as a villain, I just say continue to see me as a villain, okay? Because the glow up is real, and I don't need the negativity in my space. Like, listen, I fight my own negativity within my own brain. I don't need nobody else's on the outside feeding into my negativity, right? And the people in my circle, which is a small circle, it seems like it's big, but it's really a small circle. It's like there's no negativity. We're trying. We really are working to grow and grow each other up. And yeah, there's no room for it. So there's that. But being a part of WUBI Ubiquity Radio and TV has definitely helped that, and helped get the podcast out, helped getting this out. So, having that opportunity to talk to you guys about this stuff is really, it's been great. It really has. There's some things that, when you sit here and you're thinking about being in relationships and having the different types of relationships and the role you play in the relationship. Yeah, you play a role in there. And we all are not don't have the most positive light in the roles we play sometimes. And I'm okay with admitting that, I did that. I did that. But honestly, I think it's just one of those things that we just look into ourselves and think about where it is that we want to change, where it is that we want to do better and be better and just strive to be better and building these relationships that are broken within our blood family is a place where I like to begin because there's so many things that's out there that's separating us. I mean, just look at the political climate today. It's all about separating us and making us all villains in each other's story. It really is. It gets to the point that I don't even want to go outside and have conversations with people. I don't want to help people in the street because it just we had this conversation and it's it brought to my attention this whole thought process. And you guys, I'm sure, have seen videos of it where it has the black man getting on the elevator and there's a little white child that's separated from a parent on the elevator, and how you're just not going to get on the elevator. That child will not up in the elevator by herself because, and it's just so sad that this is the world we live in, that we are not out to help people. But then you have some that are saying, if you're ever lost, they tell their children, find a black woman with children or a black woman, they're going to help you. And it's like, at one point that was really true because if somebody come up to me and say, hey, I'm lost. And how many times have you really gone out your way to do that? So, and then now to look at it and, you see you have a group of people that are really, making you villains. Um, as you guys I share with you guys, I have been flying frequently, from Southwest to the East Coast, quite often. I honestly need to get a credit card with one of these airlines so I can get the frequent flyer miles because I'm seriously doing myself a disservice with this one. But I have been traveling back and forth, and literally, I got on the plane. Dude had a tattoo of a swastika on his arm, showing it. And and I felt one or two ways. One, I was like, damn, that's jacked up. Are you gonna like hijack the plane? What are you gonna do? What's that? You count the number of black faces to know how much damage you want to do. And then the other part of me is like, nope, not gonna think negative because it's just not it. It's just the other part of me then started thinking, you know what, at least I know who you are. You know, because once upon a time there was always hidden, right? That villain was always hidden. Now they just show in their faces, so it's like, it's one of those things. It's like, yeah, I don't want to see it, but yeah, I've got my eye on you, kind of thing. So we all have our set of villains in our story, and it looks different for each one of us. And for some of them, we're the villains, and we don't even realize why we're the villains. And most of us, we're the villains because of the color of our skin. Most of us are the villains because of where we come from. Most of us are the villains because we got a job that they want. Most of us are the villains because the reason why we're their villains is going to vary based on their perception. Is where I am going at the end of all of this. Is their perception. We cannot change that other person's perception that has villainized us, because by them villainizing us, they victimize themselves. And some people love to live in the world of being a victim. They really do. And you have a lot of people that say, "Oh, I'm not the victim. I don't like playing the victim," but yet they are constantly living in the place where they're the victim. And it's just like, dang, I don't want to live like that. I choose not to live like that because at one point I did live like that, where I was, like I said, when I started the podcast today, I was like, yeah, I used to blame my mom for things. I used to blame my dad for things. And I was like, as you grow, as I pointed out, my mom is like 15 years older than me, which means that she had me as a child, a young teenager. And here we are, it's like, yeah, she went from playing with dolls to having a live doll. how much growth do you think they're going to have? And so for me, it took that growth for me to see it for what it is, because now, and it did take me to be a parent to really sit into it and to recognize it. So, you know, I did. I had to sit into it and just like, hey, here we are. But yeah, so I don't want to be the villain, but I know I am. So how do you change that? You don't, because that's that person's perception. They're the only ones that can change your villain status. Your villain status. What's your status? I'm a villain. Um, but yeah, but then I don't know if you guys have watched Wicked yet, or you've seen Wicked, but or the play or the movie, or you guys all, I'm sure many of you have watched The Wizard of Oz at some point, the original, and The Wiz, and each variation that there is. But it's like you see things, and you see the similarities in life, and it's just wild how life is playing out, and what our role is in all of this chaos. And I just, am at the point where if I'm the villain in your story, just let me know so I know where our relationship is. And then there's that. And I think that's where we are with my own relationship with my oldest daughter. She pointed out that she feels me as toxic and I'm the villain in her story, and then that's where it is, and that's where we are. I think about her every day. She's, I love her dearly, but um, as she tells me, she's protecting her peace, and this is part of the protecting her peace, and I'm gonna let her be, because all I ever wanted to be was happy. And if this is what's making her happy, then I'm gonna let her be, and let her be great. Does it make me feel warm and fuzzy? Hell no, it doesn't make me feel warm and fuzzy, but it is what it is. I know she's safe. I know she's taken care of, and that's all I can ever ask for. So sometimes you have to relinquish that and just be in a space where you yourself now have to protect your own peace and protect your own sense of self, and maintain your own authenticity, because you don't realize by you trying not to be the villain in other people's story, you're changing who you are authentically, because you're trying to fit a vision of yourself that they see and that makes them comfortable. It's like us code switching, right? When you're working and you change up how you talk based on where you are, and now many of us are just not doing the code switch. It's like, this is who I am. So and me, I'm one. I'm one. I used to code switch like crazy. I'm in a room and I'm the only black piece of rice in the room. you know, it's just like, I don't know how our dear friend Reggie Dupree says, I'm the raisin. I am the raisin in the sea of milk in a lot of places. I'm the raisin in the sea of milk, and to make those around me comfortable, and you guys know it's built into our DNA. We soften ourselves to what we feel like they want to see, and that what makes them comfortable, others around us. And what has happened is, I think you guys have seen this on TikTok and Instagram, where there's a lot of people that's like, I'm not code switching anymore. I want to come in the way I am coming in, the way I feel for that day. And then I'm going to talk to you the way I feel for that day. And then we're going to go from there. It's a little challenging for me because, again, I've been code switching since I've been working in the industry, in a profession. So code switching, it just innately happens when I walk into different places. The other thing is, when we look at it, I think I do work hard on is giving my resume when I'm in a conversation with people. I used to do it all the time because I felt like I needed to justify me being in places. I did. And sometimes I catch myself to this day that I'm like, no, I don't need to tell you, where I went to school, what my profession is, where I graduated, what. Mm-mm. I do. It's a conscious effort for me because I've done it for so long that I really have to really focus and just not do that. Like, nope, nope, nope. They don't need to know that. Mm, no. So it's just, I don't know. It's just one of those things. But I just wanted to come in today and just talk about that for a little bit because, again, that was sitting on my soul. See, I even wrote myself some notes about it too, about being the victim in relationships and being the villains in people's relationships. Because I mentioned a couple of episodes back that I was a part of an anthology, Reset, Relaunch by Becoming. And in that, a lot of people were talking about, where they were and how they had this background where they really had to work and they were struggling to get to a point where they are today, and still they're building, right? So when I talked about my part, my chapter, part of that was talking about where I am, where I was, um, how I have gotten to this point, and where I am continuing to grow to, because I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. There's still so much for me to do, and I know that I'm at a point in my life where I should be looking for retirement and looking for a raise for retirement, but we all know this economy, the way this America is built, most of us regular folks are not going to retire um, the way we would like to, the way we would like to. So I'm working really hard to get us to that point, and where we can do it comfortably and still live our best lives. Because that's what I want to do. I just want to live my best life. I just want to enjoy life. I just want to go out. I want to travel. I want to enjoy my husband. I want to enjoy my grandkids. I just enjoy my children. So we're building memories. We're building memories, and sometimes, as much as we want other people to be a part of those memories, if you have me the villain in your story, I don't want to try to force you into mine, because that means you're bringing that toxic behavior into our good time. And by you wanting to maintain our status as a villain, you're going to throw negativity and ruin our time. And nobody needs that. I know I don't need that. Nobody needs that. So we're just not going to do it. Just trying to do it. So, yeah. So I challenge you guys to really think about who is the villain in your story. How are you feeling out in the villain in your story? Um, and then go from there. And then go from there, because it's just like, I have no idea. I don't know. I don't know. So shed some light. Share with me, okay, how this works, because I really want to know. Because I do care. Yeah, as much as I try not to care, I care why I'm the villain in people's stories. Some people, some. I'm going to tell you, because those relationships, I don't give a damn why I'm the villain. I'm going to stay the villain. Keep me the villain, damn it. Don't call me, because I ain't going to call you. I'll stay the villain. But in families, because we're so broken, I want to know why you're keeping some family members villains. And let me just be the one to say, some of them might just really deserve to stay the villain, and that's okay. But I still like to know what transpired, that is the status, and why it remains the status. And again, sometimes it just needs to remain what it is. It really does. Sometimes it's just really a misunderstanding, right? Somebody just, you didn't understand what I was saying, or you mistook what I was saying, and here we are. So it's sometimes it's just a matter of clearing that stuff up too. So that's why I really want to. I ask the question of why it is that we're not talking, why it is that you see me the way you do, because it's like I just don't understand what it. I played it in my head. Where did I go wrong? What happened? And yeah, we're just trying to figure out. But yeah, so that's where I am with it today. I didn't want to come on and talk too much about too many things, because again, that's yeah, that's what I was thinking about, being a villain. Because again, I'm trying to change and be better with family, and especially these generations, and building relationships. I want to build more, uh, build more ex- experiences and times together, and by me having only two children and not being close to my cousins and, my aunts and uncles, and, I try to keep connected to all of them. I just try to be engaged in family. I just want to do better because, again, we've been broken on purpose. We've been broken on purpose. So now we have to purposefully fix it. And that's what I'm doing. I'm purposely engaging to fix it. So I do reach out. I do try. I still stay connected to my daughter as much as um, she doesn't answer. I still send her messages and let her know I love her. I'm thinking about her. I miss her. I check on my family members. Hey, how you doing? I only talk to a few of my second cousins. I send them a message. Hey, just checking on you. How you doing? But it takes a conscious effort on my part because I'm choosing to do that. And other people may not want to choose to do that, and that's okay. But I just want to know how that works and what you guys do that's different, and be a part of that world. I'm not trying to build like instant connections where we're all hanging out, but I just, want to engage with family. And I started this journey when I looked at my ancestry again and learned where a big portion of me came from. And so with that, it got me thinking about, being victims and being toxic in relationships and, you know, purposefully being separated from our family and things and the things we say and do to each other to separate us from our family, and how society has built it so that we are separate and divided on many things, and we maintain that separate um, separations in within our our families and things like that. And I just want to be better. I want to do better. So here's my start to wanting to be better and to do better and maintain connections. So yeah, so I just share that with y'all today. I did. I did. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, and I'll be honored to answer any questions that you have. I know some of you have sent me emails and things like that, and I've answered quite a few of you. Just keep it coming. Just keep it coming. Even if you don't see me active on Instagram and all these things, it's only because I just am doing 100 things, and it's very hard to keep up with all this technology. If you have not yet, please feel free to reach out and purchase Reset Relaunching by Becoming, which is the anthology of a group of leaders, both men and women, that have written chapters in this book about who they are and where they have gone and have grown to and where they continue to grow to. It is on sale for $25 on the Soulful Eclectic podcast. So please do if you can. And if you want to support the book and all those authors who have participated, it's about 40 or 50 of us that participated in this anthology. So we got some good stories in there, definitely. And I will definitely send it out to you. And again, it's just life. It's just doing its thing, and I'm just here for the ride and enjoying it and embracing it and maintaining a level of positivity within it, because there's so much negativity. They're working so hard to tear us down and apart, that every time you walk out, you're looking over your shoulder, you're thinking about what the next yeah, it's a challenge. It's a challenge. But yes. So with that, take care of yourself and each other. And always remember, you have to put your oxygen mask on first for yourself before you can help anyone else. So stop giving from an empty well. Fill your well and then share some of it, not all of it. Okay? Whatever is left over that pours out of your cup is what you give to others. And that was then whatever pours out of your cup. So if your cup overflows, That overflow is what you give out to others. Remember that. Namaste.